Welcome to Nintendo Ninja News. I'm your host, Chris Tisis, and we're here to, talk about some different stuff in terms of streaming, for example, the what I would call the multi-streaming of madness. And what have been, tested out and experimenting on is the ability to stream to more than one platform at the same time. So instead of just, streaming a few hours on YouTube and then streaming a few hours on Twitch, you do that at the same time and, you're working smarter and not longer and harder. And I think part of it has been a bit of a desire, since we've done some updates in the background and we're looking to, try to expand a bit beyond YouTube and Discord, which is a pretty closed off community um, in terms of the voice app sort of software there. And I think the reason why has been, we feel like we need to get the brand out a bit more instead of just relying on YouTube for views and getting you people into it at the moment. Our numbers have been pretty much the same over the 2 to 3 years we've been streaming. It's probably gotten worse over time due to the pandemic um, slowing down, if you get what I mean, lockdowns ending, and all that sort of stuff. So by multi-streaming, we can get people to join up to those platforms and maybe get some of them to join up to YouTube at some point or Discord, which is probably the place where everyone just can sort of come together since the axing of the form board a couple weeks ago. So I think the madness part is trying to actually make this work on one monitor screen, which I know other streamers are watching this and going, why are you using one monitor? It's just that's all I have at the moment. And hopefully that will change one day with the PC build that we're doing. So the question is, how much multi-streaming do we do and which platforms do we go for? Now, obviously, YouTube is the big giant green tick because that's our home and that's where we like to be. And, I've been home here for nearly 7 years. And the next week, actually, next week is the big birthday bash that we're doing. And then there are three other options. There is Facebook, which has actually grown the most during the pandemic with streamers and viewers, which is really interesting. And it's not just a place where old people are. 50% of Facebook users are actually 35 and under. So it's not really a place where older people are. And people who are 65 years plus makes up about 4.8%, which is actually quite small. So it's not as old of a platform as you would think it is. And we did stream on there beforehand. And, you sort of think back and go, geez, what if I stuck with it with the Facebook streaming? But then again, I may have not met the people that I have streaming the last couple of years on YouTube. So, there's that give and take. So it's sort of an interesting thing with Facebook. Then you have Twitch, which is the biggest place to stream your video games and things like that. It's the ideal place. It has the community that people like and enjoy, right? The chat room's a lot more interactive. You can do channel points and all that sort of stuff and the emotes and all that fun little things. But the problem is there's zero discoverability and small streamers don't grow at all on the platform. For me, it just feels like I'm just streaming on it because it's a nice gaming experience. And personally, I would never become a partner because I'm not going to be getting 75 concurrent users at a time. And number two, I would never become an affiliate because it's not really worth it and you're tied to an exclusivity, which means that I can only stream on Twitch, which means I would have to stop streaming on YouTube, which is not something that I would ever want to do. So there's the downsides of that. So you have those two other options. The third option is Trovo, which is owned by Tencent, which is one of the biggest gaming companies in the world. You've probably seen them buying up every company around the world. They own a portion of Epic Games, I believe, and all that sort of stuff. Um, they're a very different platform. They're a very small platform. 10% on the platform are English speakers. And even if you get 50 to 100 viewers, you're probably seen as a big streamer if you get 100 plus, which isn't a lot if you think about it. And we thought that that could be, a niche area to get into, in terms of there's not that many English speaking streamers, not many streamers there, but still, quite a few viewers here and there. So this is where it gets, I guess, difficult, in terms of picking the I would say two additional platforms that I would do. Um, I think I'm leaning probably strongly towards the Facebook world, because I know a lot of people on Facebook. There has been some growth there that we've seen in the past and all that sort of stuff. Twitch, on the other hand, I don't really know if we would ever get any growth there. We have tried to stream there in the past and it hasn't been very successful. Being as a small streamer, there isn't that many tales of small streamers becoming bigger streamers and going on to other stuff. And affiliate and partnership stuff is just not even worth doing. With Trovo, they're a small platform, and it's particularly difficult to make money on it, in terms of you need to reach like the top 500 or something. I'm not too sure about that partnership stuff, but it feels like a bit of the hamster wheel where you need to be on there for a lot of hours to get anywhere. So I guess that's my dilemma. So we had two issues with the multi-streaming, which is possible with OBS Studio. One was the internet connection, which is absolutely fine. Because the one good thing, probably the best feature of the streams and the videos is not the room, not the background, not the laptop, not anything else, is the internet connection. We have a very good internet connection here, which is saying something from coming from Australia. So, hovers around that 45 megapixels, megabytes per second, which is pretty high and pretty good. When you only need something like 5 or 6 to stream to YouTube, that's a lot of space left to use. So you can easily add 2 more platforms with the LAN cable here that we've got, and we can do that pretty easily. The other problem, which I have had some issues, and I was pulling out my hair, what little I have of it, out last night, was dealing with multiple chat boxes, which is an issue. So I can look at the YouTube chat box sort of easily, but you've also got, a Twitch one, and you also got a Facebook chat, and you got to keep clicking on different pages and browsers to look at all the chat boxes at once. And of course, having one monitor screen is pretty bad. You just can't make it work. It just doesn't work if you want to be a streamer. It's possible, but if you're trying to multi-stream on one monitor, like, people are going to call me absolutely crazy. And that becomes a bit of an issue too. So we have somehow put together the Twitch stream chat and the Facebook chat. I have no idea if the Facebook chat will actually work for tonight's stream. It's just one of those, we'll click on stream and see if it works or not. So that's one of those issues that we have is, trying to decide which, additional streaming platforms that we would go on. So the links can be found in the description if you do want to follow them, just in case you see me on them, or you want to try out a different experience. Like on Twitch, you can clip a video that goes for 30 seconds. YouTube doesn't have that, right? Some of those additional things that the YouTube model doesn't have. But YouTube will have some good features such as gifted memberships and more chat experiences, but we don't know when. Or they've said that it's coming this year, and we don't really know when that's going to happen. It's been trialed in Japan, YouTube Japan, and that's kind of it. So that's been the tricky and the most difficult thing about YouTube is it's very slow to try to modernize itself against Twitch. But yes, that's my thoughts and feelings about the Multistream of Madness so far. But do let me know in the comments, what other streaming services do you use apart from YouTube? Obviously, I guess most of my hardcore viewers will be saying, "Oh, I watch you on YouTube and I watch others there." But I'm sure that there'll be people out there that will use other services. I think for me personally, because Twitch doesn't have that growth, and I've had past experience with Facebook, and I know a lot of people on it. There will be, I could dabble with Trovo, and I think I will do that tonight to see that what will happen with the game Pokemon Unite. So that's going to be probably the challenge for tonight, and to see how that goes. But I'm curious to see how that will go and how I can make that work. So that's going to be the challenge so far, I would say, in terms of how I will make that come together. So, but that's all I've got to say about the whole matter. So I've rambled on enough. Hopefully people won't be so upset about it. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how everything comes together and all that sort of thing. So we'll see what happens, hey, with tonight, and we'll keep experimenting. And if it doesn't work out, then we don't do multi-streaming and we'll just stick to YouTube. But, we always need to experiment with stuff and see what happens. And if things work out, it works out. But if it doesn't, it doesn't. Hey. But, yeah. So thanks for me rambling on for over 10 minutes. That's it for me, and I shall see you next time on Nintendo Ninja News.